involved in this. I want to ruin her life. Like it's something like this. I don't want her involved in this. Okay.
It made contact and shattered.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag.
Brian Laundrie's body has been found. Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
That's all it is the truth. So there's nothing to hide in that coroner's report. There's nothing to hide by not having Callie take a polygraph. And if the truth comes out, and this was
reference to a missing 4-year-old, the parents have called me and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Hello?
John.
Oh. Thank you, Mel Mac. Hi, everybody in chat. I was basically just welcoming you guys all to another live stream. I'm not used to being on camera still, so I always forget to unmute myself after I show the camera. So hi, Nikki Rex. Thanks for being here. And Sunny Robinson. We are going to talk about Summer Wells tonight, and we have a special guest, Pink Dahlia, who many of you have seen in the community moderating for myself and a few other creators. She was there in Tennessee, boots on the ground, searching for Summer Wells. Hi, BLN and Punksy, Pointer Lover. Thank you guys for being here. Hi, J Rose. So I'm going to add her to the stream in just a minute. I'm just going to share my Summer Wells public service announcement. Summer Wells was last seen on June 15, 2021 on Ben Hill Road in Rogersville, Tennessee. At the time of her disappearance, she was 5 years old. She weighed around 40 pounds and she was 3 feet tall. Summer has blonde hair and blue eyes. The last people to have seen Summer that day were her grandmother, her mother, and her 3 brothers. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Summer Wells, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome, basically. I forgot to unmute again. Girl, I am a mess.
I'm a hot mess.
I'm not used to seeing myself on camera, and I'm all thrown off, guys. And everyone in chat is being so wonderful and nice, like telling me you're muted, unmute. I feel like
I'm like this
all over again.
I thought it was just me. I wasn't sure.
No, yeah, we're off to a good start, though.
Oh, well, we're together. That's all that matters, right?
Yes.
So.
And the purpose of this live stream is to share your firsthand experience. And I just want to thank you for everything that you've sent me, like your footage and your videos. And it's pretty much, it's really interesting because it's you vlogging. So you're just, you know, capturing like your firsthand experience, like in real time. So I'm sure everyone's going to be excited to see that. Hi, Crime Curious and Roxanne. And everyone, for thank you for being here. So anyways.
Just a disclaimer that I already said to you privately. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to filming. And I'm not aware of all the little things that people would normally be self-aware of when filming. So just a little grace, that's all. Because I'm you know, mind wanders. I notice something. I'm just blabbering, you know. But like you said, it's really just observing what's in front of me. And it was hard at times because it was like, Allie, I know, felt the same way. It's like you are just in this feeling of just sort of stunned. So it's, yeah, you
Yeah.
have to like make yourself like remember. I don't know. It was just a very strange feeling being there in general. So
Right. It's one thing to watch all the live streams and drone footage and everything like that, but when you're there, it's
yeah,
just, I mean, I'll share it with you guys. We're going to pull it up in just a minute, but if anyone has questions about the trip or the Pink Dahlia's firsthand experience, she might be able to bring forth new insight as, as far as like, do you think people could have climbed up that side, hill and taken her, or, it's all the questions that everyone's pretty much been wondering. But when you're there firsthand and you're driving the roads and you see the traffic and how many people go down her street and stuff, like, it gives you a different, more detailed like insight.
yeah. And standing like literally on the easement of their property and just looking at, number one, how big it is, number two, how elevated it is, how dense with, it's the same time we were there 2 or 3 weeks before the date. So
Yeah.
I would imagine everything like foliage and all of that is going to be relatively the same. I mean, I realize in spring we get a big punch and things really thicken up, but when we were there, it was already extremely dense. So it would have only gotten more so.
Yeah, I think that it's good the time frame you guys went, and if you guys haven't seen it, she's done videos with Alex Erickson, and that's who you went on this trip with.
Yeah.
So that was nice that you guys got to meet and then also do this like little investigative work together. And
Yeah.
so I guess
it was great.
I'm so glad. And let share my screen.
Hello, everybody.
Probably or not.
Like I said, Pink Dahlia.
Hello, everybody.
You want me to call you by your name or?
Yeah, I'm Jenny. I think most people know that by now. I'm Jenny. I'm getting ready to lose all this anyway. Just when I came onto YouTube a couple years ago, I found you and Kelly, and you guys introduced me to Allie, and then it branched out a little bit from there, like Crazy Crying Chick and Amanda Svita and Teresa. So my little circle has stayed pretty small, but I came in sort of a vulnerable time in my life, so I was a little bit scared to just say my name and have my face out there. But I feel like I'm a little more comfortable with that now. But yes, everyone's welcome to address me by my name, which is Jenny.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. That's how I refer you as. So
yeah,
I didn't.
And I don't care either way, honestly. It's kind of become sort of a term of endearment. Everybody calls me Pink. It's kind of cute, but there was a reason for it. And I hear a lot of people comment on like hiding behind pictures and fake names. And it's, just remember, people do it for different reasons. It's not always to be skeevy, so
right.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
And we've already got some questions. How close is Ben Hill Road to a busy road?
Ben Hill Road is like, we didn't go all the way up it because so you're on Beach Creek. You head out into the country, I would say, from that little town of Kingsport. Or I guess is that Rogersville right there. Allie would be able to answer this question better. But the next nearest little, like where there's strip malls and that kind of stuff, where Sonic is and that kind of thing. You drive probably 5 miles. I'm guessing, I'm sure people are going to shred me for this when they get down and look up the actual data. But I would say it seemed like about a 3 to 5 mile drive into the country. And then you hit Beach Creek Road, and it's pretty long and windy. And there's just, houses sort of here and there. It's not cul-de-sacs and neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff. You get to Ben Hill Road, and you turn onto it, and it just goes basically straight up. We didn't go past their driveway. This is like going up a mountain, basically. I think what we determined is that Jody Sue must have lived on top of Ben Hill Road, because I just couldn't figure it out where else she would be if she heard a scream and if she saw anything ever. You would have to, it's so thick. Just so hard to describe how dense it is up there with trees. But she must have had some line of sight or line of sound. But Ben Hill Road, there's nobody on Ben Hill Road, but people who take Beach Creek, we saw, let's say, a dozen cars in the time that we were there, maybe more, a few more. It wasn't like a highway, but people were flying. That's what I will tell you. No kidding. At least like 70 miles an hour. And it's very curvy. And we were both like, oh, I'm like pushing Allie off to this, towards the garter. Cause I was just like, man, or a guardrail. Cause I'm like, man, people are flying. And just a quick note while I'm thinking of it, as we're standing there, Hawkins County Sheriff passed us, just kept going. And I thought, that's interesting. Maybe total coincidence, and at first we were like, well, glad he didn't stop. And then I was like, I kind of wish he would have. I've got a few questions, but
yeah,
I don't know if that really answers the question. I can't, let me get my glasses. How close to Ben Hill Road? So not close. I mean, Beach Creek is busy, or people drive fast on it, put it that way, but it's not like constant busy traffic. We were there for, I don't know, Allie could probably give you a better estimation, but at least an hour. And I would say, I don't know, 12 to 15 cars went by us. But then again, I was preoccupied, looking around. The thing that
overall is just not a busy.
Not really. They just drive really, really fast on it.
And a highway or a busy like road from there, like.
I couldn't really answer that because I'm not great with like navigation, direction, all that. And to be honest, I had driven from Michigan to West Virginia. It took me a long time. I got turned around. It's just a long mess, but I got there.
That's a long drive.
Yeah, but also it's nothing but construction, so I kept getting rerouted, and it just took forever. But anyway, so then when we went from Allie's house to Kingsport, she drove my car. So just to give me a break from driving. So I'm looking around at stuff. I'm not really, I'm not on the job paying attention like I probably should have. But one thing I'll tell you while I'm thinking of it is, as you're driving in, and I'm pretty sure Allie did a video on it. And I think there's a clip, just a short one that I sent you, talking about Eastman, that Eastman company. Donna mentions that company, and I believe that's where either Jody Sue's husband or somebody, Andy or one of them, worked there, or their dad works. They're affiliated with that company anyway. But the point is, I couldn't get over how enormous that was. And all I could think is, oh my goodness, you could like easily hide somebody there. It's just a lot of tanks and buildings, and just it's a huge industrial park, and it goes on and on.
How far away from their house was that?
That is, I would say, I don't know, maybe a 10-minute drive, not far. 15-minute drive. I could be wrong. I could be wrong at all these estimations,
but not like a half hour.
Not far, no, because that was the first thing we hit was Eastman, or first thing I remember noticing was Eastman. As we were driving in, we went to our hotel. So this was in Kingsport. We went to our hotel. So no, it must be a little further because that was in Kingsport. We went from Kingsport then to Warriors, back, and then because we only had that day, we spent the night, and then the next day, and then we left from there. And we went to Warriors twice because it was pouring the first day.
Okay, and that's where I think this video starts. So let me start at.
Yes. Okay.
Hello,
sorry,
everybody. So I am at Warriors State Park, and I am walking from my car down to the path down to the quote-unquote horse pond or swimming hole. And I just want to give some perspective on the terrain. Today happens to be a particularly muddy and rainy day, and June 15th of last year was not. Let me take 2 steps back here, guys.
I mean, right off the bat, I mean, that's pretty steep for a grandmother who has a knee issue and who is just out of the emergency room. Like, I really don't know if I'm certain grandma was even there with them at this.
I don't believe that she was, but, if she was, she didn't get out of the car, because so there's a little parking space, and then there's a mowed area, and then there's tall grass, and these little trails branch off, mostly to the right as you're facing the water. But even that mowed area, it's like a whole family of moles live under there. It's so lumpy and clunky, and you can see, it's hard to really get the depth and perspective on film. Allie and I talked about that a lot, how frustrating that was. And she has a much better camera or phone and stuff, and even she felt like she just couldn't capture the depth. But I'm there's so many roots sticking out of the ground. There's so many lumps and hills and divots. There's just no way grandma traversed any of that.
Yeah.
Bum knee. It just is not common sense
Right.
I mean, common sense would say that didn't happen.
Even the ER. A little tip for you and anyone else who is new to vlogging or filming: when you use your phone, and hi Brooks Richards, thanks for being here. Because I think the phones nowadays have super nice cameras that you can be a vlogger, film things like that, and not have to really invest in a really expensive camera. But if you turn it, see how it's vertical right now and not covering the screen. If you put it landscape, then it covers the screen.
Okay.
So
and I did that at times, and I would flip and flop, and so it ended up really that's why I said, did you get are you over your sickness?
Yeah, I tried my best to kind of edit out where it was flipping, but
yeah, I meant to send you some Dramamine with all that, but
you're fine.
Okay. First of all, I'll stand here and just show you how absolutely stunningly beautiful this place is. Okay. Oops, sorry, that was a little fast. Blurred it out a little bit. I'm new. You can forgive me. However, I'm here, so this is what we're going to do. Now, this is a path down to the horse pond or swimming hole. Like I said, it's rainy and muddy. I have boots on. I hike nearly every day in terrain like this. But my knee just clicked. I just tripped, not on purpose, obviously, because I'm a klutz. I'm going to avoid this puddle here. This puddle probably wasn't here, but since there is such a puddle, clearly there's some sort of divot. Oh, excuse my hands. I guess, again, I said I'm new. It's quite beautiful. It's a nice little really quiet spot where people probably...
I think it does. See,
I mean, it's
just so flourishing, but like you said, thick and just anything could be anywhere underneath a rock or a log. Like these logs is what really stood out to me.
Yes, and so that was our first time we spent there, and it was beautiful until you go just a click up the road into Warriors Park, and then you're like, whoa, this is like the most beautiful state park I've ever seen. So just a little perspective from like just one day to the next, it was like, wow, this is so beautiful. And then you just a little bit further up the road, it is like awesome. Yeah, I didn't understand why they were hanging out there.
Having been there and using a little bit of like your sixth sense or like gut instinct, do you think that something happened to Summer at the swim hole, or do you think it was after she went home?
I felt the only thing I can really tell you definitively as I was just, Allie and I just kind of separated. She was doing her own thing. I was just walking around, observing, really, truly trying to take it in. And I know that sounds woo-woo to people, but I don't care. That's just who I am. And I'm walking around, and all of a sudden, literally from the top of my head to my toes, I just felt like I got drained like a battery. And so one video I sent you, I'm like wobbling back to the car, and then I just had to sit down. I thought I was going to faint. And nothing particular was going on with me. I wasn't like
Where
doing
were
anything
you?
strenuous, and
Were
we had
you at
eaten.
Warriors or were
It
you
was,
at?
yep, we were right in this area that you're showing, except for a little bit further down the trail where we did put the flowers. But Allie figured out she did not go swimming from this little beach you see right here, which is barely a beach. It's just like a more of a sandy little bit of a slope. All around it is all roots and boulders and whatnot. And Allie took the TikTok, and we're walking down the path trying to figure out how this lines up where Summer was actually swimming. And Allie's like, no, she was over here. And it's not a case of, okay, she got in the water from the sandy part and swam over. It's far, especially for a 5-year-old. And there's huge, like I couldn't wrap my arms around them. Boulders that big, all through the water, fallen trees. It is just not a safe, or to me, like an obvious place to take your kid swimming when, like I said, just up the street, just into Warriors, there's a designated swimming area where the water, you see how the water's like so murky? It's because it's really stagnant around there. It's a little inlet.
We are not.
Yeah.
Unless you want
So
to
do you think that
have a little,
where she was swimming was
hide.
it was obviously a more private area?
It was, so if you're looking, the view we're looking at, it would be panned to the right on the opposite shore. So like basically following that path. I'm just like kind of taking a look around here.
Yes.
But then you'll see as we go down the path, we are cutting to the right, and to where the spot where we believe she went into the water is ridiculous.
So it's more private though, like
It's way more private. Oh yeah, it's like
way kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is the shoreline. I'm trying to just capture a lot of this, even though I stink at it at the moment because I'm new. But it's I've seen, let's see, one Mountain Dew can up at the top. Now I do see some plastic. Oh, I just stepped on plastic. There's a little bit of garbage, but it was described as a dump. So I don't see that. I mean, I could, and you know what? I'm going to pick up this garbage before I leave. It's not that much of it.
Which Allie did. I did
And
a little
this
bit.
is the trail. Okay, again, for perspective, 2 steps back. Branches, right on the shoreline. It's got bark and mulch and divots, tree stumps, branches. I just almost fell backwards, damn it. And like I said, I hike all the time. I'm telling you, Grandma for sure did not come back here and pick flowers. That much I can tell you.
There's no flowers, by the way.
Like I said, I hike all the time. And I just about fell down that little ravine. Excuse me, folks. There's another path here, much longer, but it's the same terrain. So, dirty diaper, nice. And here's another little spot.
This is where she was swimming. This is where that photo was taken.
Can you pause a second?
Okay.
You heard me just say, "Oh, dirty diaper, nice." I'd kind of forgotten about that. And like I said, I just had said in that video I was going to pick up the garbage before I even had an opportunity to. Allie had gotten the bag and she was picking it up. I don't know if she got the diaper or not, but the point of that is that I keep saying, like, I just do not see this as being a place where people would bring their kids to swim when there's all these other areas. But then again, there's a dirty diaper there. So it makes you sort of wonder,
Right.
Like, why would there be a dirty diaper there if kids don't hang out there ever? Or, people don't bring their kids there. But that could be, we have no idea the context of why it's there. I just thought I'd note that because I keep saying, like, this is just not a place to bring
I had same thoughts. Like, I guess it is frequented, but maybe not as much as the other area.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine. The park is so beautiful, and when we drove in there, it was packed. I mean, there was people, not packed, but there's so much to do. There's so many different options. There's paddle boats, there's kayaks, there's a swimming pool, there's a designated swimming area of river water. There is a absolutely like fantastical, beautiful children's park there. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I just feel like them going there and Twisted Tea and stuff being involved, like they were there to obviously have
Yep.
privacy and do whatever they were doing without anyone around because it was probably illegal.
And the truth of it is too is okay, let's say Summer's in the water and Hunter and Candus are not in the water, but there's trees between. So there's the water, then there's some trees, there's the path, then it goes into the woods. So they could keep an eye on her, but they could still have their privacy of whatever they're doing.
Right.
Or just not keep an
Alex.
eye on her. But I'm saying she could be within earshot or sight or whatever, and they could still be completely tucked away.
Yeah. There's just so many possibilities.
Yeah. And that's, all sorts of things that have run through my mind. Was it a intimate thing? Was it a divvying up grandma's prescription thing? Like this whole question of why was he there? Why was he even with them? I've always felt that grandma's script plays a bigger part in this day than I seem to hear about.
Yeah,
and I think it's
got the ball rolling with whatever plan was or whatever ended up being the fate that day.
Well, she said, Grandma said, Candus insisted I go to the emergency room for my knee because I had been complaining that it was hurting, and she insisted. Now, does Candus seem like the type of person to insist something like that without like another motive, like such as pills? And I'm speaking, this sounds so mean, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm looking at it from a drug addict point of view. If you can find a reason to get yourself there or I've never done that personally with my mom or anybody, but I just know the behaviors in that.
Yeah. And
to me, it's very easy to spot.
There's substance abuse issues in this case. We already know about.
For sure. And so to me, that's just drug seeking behavior stuff. Like, I'm not saying her knee wasn't hurting, but if she got a shot and a script, trust me when I tell you, no drug addicts that are immediately around her are going to be like, oh no, you need that for your knee.
Right.
It just doesn't work like that,
Right.
Not in most cases anyway.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just my speculation.
Yeah, exactly. It's valid.
You can edit that out, right? Like you talking, or if you get caught in my thing.
Yeah, or
okay.
I don't care if that's in there, but yeah,
well, it's still rolling, so the whole discussion.
You can clip anything out.
Okay. That's exactly what I did. I'm like, I'm going to take you guys on a walk. Now, granted, today is very, wet and muddy, and that day apparently was not. Although even from the TikTok, you can't really tell that it's not been like that. So again, routes to walk over all the way along this path. There's no need for me to continue to show you, but as so many of us say, I have questions. Warrior State Park, May 27. I don't know, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
It probably gets pretty boring at this point. I'm not real sure. They're just like walking around thinking and trying to wrap my head around it all.
Right. I mean, just being in sort of the footsteps of her. I mean, she walked this place. She's
big
been
time
once, I'm sure. She loved going to see the horses.
Amber, you just nailed when you asked earlier, like if I had any feelings intuitively or whatever. That was one of the biggest things. Was I knew I was standing where she had stood that day, and all I could think was, my God, this poor child. I was trying to like see the world through her eyes and thinking about that. She just had no idea what she was in for that day. None of us know what that is still, but obviously it wasn't good,
Right, exactly. And it
broke my heart just to think about the TikTok. her swimming, playing, having fun.
Yeah.
And then standing there and thinking, yep, she got out of the water and whatever happened, or if I don't know, her fate
It's
was
a huge
sealed.
mystery, but the one thing is for certain, she saw everything that you were looking at in that moment. You know what I mean?
Punksy, I know it's not a long clip and I apologize.
Yeah.
But what I will,
like the trees that you saw there were there when she was there, you know?
Right.
And we don't know. Everything's a huge mystery. Hi, Valerie. I saw you come in. Everything's a huge mystery, but the nature aspect and being in the footsteps of where she was that day that she went missing, I think it's definitely probably a really crazy experience.
It was. It like I said, and that's when I got that drained like a battery feeling. And I just went and sat in the car, and then Allie came and said, "Are you okay?" Because like the other girls in the chat or something, we had like you were in there, that chat going.
Yeah.
Somebody must have said something.
Alex wants to know if you remember her boots flapping off.
Oh, I felt so bad. Oh my God. That was terrible.
tell you is a little while ago, I was down by the spot where we made the little spot for Summer, which is where, when we looked at that in comparison to the TikTok and the tree, Candus, she wasn't swimming from where Candus said, or it doesn't appear to be that way, allegedly, in our opinion. But what I will tell you is I started feeling like I just got drained like a battery. I barely made it back to the car. I had to sit down and just, and I do have, that does happen to me sometimes, but I was feeling fine. So I don't know. It's just something to know. All right. Good luck.
So yeah, that was that like sloppy walking.
I still feel
back
drained. I didn't mean to sound like good luck. I just meant I'm just wiped, and I hope you can capture something, anything out of this and or Allie's. She's doing one for you right now too. I'm just showing that right off of where Summer was swimming is a huge boulder and a big stick sticking out of it. The water's a tiny bit lower at the moment. It's been raining a lot the last couple days.
So yeah, now it's just some of your photos.
Seeing that boulder was the next day, because the first day we were there was pouring. So the water was higher. The next day it had drained just a little bit. So this is the hippie house.
Okay, and a question about the hippie house, which I think there's another picture too that I put. I didn't put all the products and stuff that you sent because I didn't know like what YouTube allows.
Yeah.
But my question is, so for those who follow JLR, he posted about the tobacco shop. Did you guys happen to see it or go there too? It's like near the hippie house or something.
We did go there, and Alex talked to. The reason I took the pictures of the products was because it just goes to show they have potent stuff. And I'll tell you, I am a cannabis user, a daily one, and I thought that Delta 8 was like make-believe weed. Like I really didn't think it was anything remarkable. Well, I'll tell you, I tried it and it was the same. I mean, it was virtually the same thing. So it just goes to show what all these different things that she could have gotten her hands on, somehow. Like I don't know exactly what they bought, but if there was Delta 8 Skittles, I know what the stuff did to me, and I'm 190 some pounds, and I'm an adult, and I'm an addict, recovering addict. So, that's why I kind of showed those, was just to show like, this is no joke, like what they sell there.
So in JLR's video, he went into the tobacco shop and he spoke with somebody there, and they said that on June 15th, the mother and grandmother were in their shop, and TBI came in there and talked to the manager, and he thinks, or this employee said that they think that they gave CCTV footage to TBI.
I think that's true because Allie talked to the clerk there as well, and she could tell you verbatim what was said, but I'm almost sure that's what she told her as well.
And my question is to watching, and just knowing this, why did they have to go, like, what sets them apart? Just the fact that the hippie house sells the Delta 8?
That's my guess is they went to the tobacco shop for cigarettes, and then they went to the hippie house for the vapes, and I'm not sure where they got the twisted tea unless it was at the grocery store they went to that day, which we also went to, and I did speak to someone there briefly. That's what we were trying to do, is kind of follow the trail, see, like, every place had cameras. There's no way that they were not caught on camera.
Right.
So TBI obviously has answers they're not sharing, and I understand.
Right.
My theory, I completely understand why we don't have answers yet. It's frustrating, but that's just my opinion. I think it involves a lot of people, and I still, my gut, you know this, Amber, I've told you this from day one. It is my gut goes to this child was trafficked before and possibly that day. I don't know. But even if it was only before and then something happened, think about it. They would have to cover it up because it would expose everything else that's gone on with that child.
Yeah, no matter what, it would have had to have been hidden.
Right.
And Alex said they sold Delta 8 vapes at the tobacco store in Delta 8. So I wondered why not one stop. Right. So
but they didn't have the Skittles, right? Like, they didn't have some of the other things they got that day. Al?
Something must have set it apart, you know?
Yeah. I think it was just they wanted products from both places. I mean, I go, like, when I go to reload on stuff, I go to different dispensaries here because different places have different things I want. So, in the same day. So, it's not unfeasible. Okay, so that is okay.
Sorry, let me rewind.
No, that's okay.
Pause.
We were okay. I was just going to point out that we were right at their intersection. I think it's the next one.
Okay.
After that little caterpillar, which I thought was pretty cute. Tie-dye caterpillar.
Are those your Vans? The shoes?
What? Oh, yeah. I didn't see them. Yeah.
I wear Vans, too.
I love them. That's all I wear. Okay, right there. That is their intersection, I believe. So that's Beach Creek is the road we are facing, and Ben Hill is to the right. And you can see, if you zoom in, I don't know if you can zoom in on this or not, but you can see this weathered little poster for her. We saw a total, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but I think we saw a total of 4 posters for her. They are all located on their property, or like right on their property or around their property. They're all weathered, old. You can't, like, you would not know what you're looking at unless you're looking for it. We were looking for it, so we spotted them, but people flying down that road would never see that. There were tons of this missing dog poster. This little black Pomeranian, I think it was. I forget the name.
But ultimately, it's like, whose fault is this? Candus? Why isn't she going around replacing these? Like,
no idea. She was there for many months after, and she was there alone. There was nobody there to stop her from doing that.
Right. So to be like outraged is like, wow, yeah, I can't believe it's all faded. No one can see it. And then when you think about it, it's like, why isn't the parents, and Don's in jail, why isn't the mother going out there and replacing them? I just seen in another video of JLR, he's taping up her flyer around town again and refreshing them. But that's like the mother's job in a way.
Right. It is. And, Allie's a mom. I'm not, but I'm not an idiot though. I mean, I lost my dog overnight one time, and I about had a mental breakdown. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's just up the road.
No, yeah.
So, but she was pointing that out too. She said, if this was my child, I would be out here every day, not only looking, but I would be making sure that her or his, like it was Bentley, God forbid, let's say his picture would be everywhere to the point where it was like annoying people. You know, that's their shed right there. So we're standing right on the easement of their property, the backside.
Very
on,
interesting.
On Beach Creek. And it's very creepy.
Yeah.
It's a creepy spot. It's a creepy shed. Chris
look
McDonough brought a lot of questions about that shed, you know?
Yeah. It's like a reoccur. It
This
was
is just up the road.
So it was like a reoccurring thing that was sticking out until it was brought to Don's attention that everyone was like fixated on this shed thing. And then he just went off with his narrative.
Right.
Vicky VA.
Which, if anyone can even remember, please enlighten me, because I have no clue. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I remember certain things that these guys have said, but they've said so much, and so many other people have too, that I get lost in it all.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And they've contradicted their own things. So it's like, when you're telling the truth, you don't ever contradict yourself.
That's right.
Just a skip from their house, or their end of their driveway. I mean, this is incredibly steep. That would be an absolute tumble, probably ending with a broken leg. There's the Beach Creek down there.
Look how fast
again,
that's
it's hard
flowing.
to even.
Yes.
Look how, I know we had rain, but look how fast that's flowing. Now they have a creek that divides their property with the easement as well. And Allie points this out, like, okay, even if she somehow made it down either her drastically steep and crumbling driveway, which there's no way I would have attempted to take my car up there, even if I'd been allowed to.
Right.
I drive a Volkswagen, and they sit pretty low, and there's just no way. That's their regular driveway. Then to think about going up the back way, I remember Don filming, driving in his truck, and his car was bouncing all over, or the camera was bouncing all over the place. It just demonstrates how rough that is back there. So even if she made it somehow through all of that, one way or the other, she would still have to contend with this rushing creek, you know?
Right.
And a very steep drop into the creek, and a very steep climb, like rock climb out of the creek. It just doesn't even, to get to the road is what I'm saying. So it just does not, we just stood there befuddled. Like, so wandering off for me, and I think for Allie, but for me, is off the table. It was in the first place, but people keep bringing it up. And somebody like a random stranger bushwhacking their way up there and grabbing her, to me, is also off the table. It is just too dense. It's just, they would have to be like military style grab, seriously.
Right. And I've always felt that way. And obviously I haven't been able to get there, but I trust your insight and a lot of other people's insight, and Alex and everyone else who have been there. It's just a stranger abduction, or even if they were followed,
right?
For someone to just like you said, like get their way up there, it's just not plausible.
No, they would have to have climbing equipment and a machete. Yeah. At the very least, that's what they would have to have to make their way up that hill. Now, if they came up the drive, it seems like the dogs or somebody would notice them. I don't know, but that to me is just, and then when you couple it with all the things that they've said, it's just like, no, that's not what happened, you know?
Yeah. And if I had to check the almanac on the weather last June, I believe there was like a lot of rain. And so the creek, like here, it was probably very similar that year, or, last year.
Right.
And one of the EquiSearch people said that in the creeks, when they were searching, they found syringes.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, when you hear not just Don, I mean, listen how Don talks about the people surrounding them, all these meth heads, and a lot of people do shoot meth. That was never my drug of choice. I never tried it, whatever. But it wouldn't surprise me, as much as we've heard about drugs in this case. That wouldn't shock me at all. We didn't happen to see it, but we also didn't pass the edge of their easement. you know, we didn't like get down by the, you know, we weren't.
Yeah. That's probably
we weren't
better
gonna
that you weren't,
push
like,
our luck and end up in jail. So,
or in the emergency room.
right. No kidding.
Hi, Jody is cool, and everyone else who joined. And yes, Vicky, your question earlier, that was the shed that Don went to first.
Yeah. The video does not convey what we are looking at. This is the most dense, it's like a jungle. Dense, thick, lush foliage.
It really is.
Barefoot 5-year-old alone. I doubt it. And again, all this poison ivy.
The greenery and just like how, like you said, the poison ivy and dense, it's gorgeous there. Like, you're lucky. I mean, I know it was a long drive and all that, but like, it's just so gorgeous there.
Yeah, no, it was a beautiful trip. I saw
for a hiker,
so many gorgeous areas. Yeah.
Like, this is just, when you're in touch with nature, like we are.
Yeah.
This is just so beautiful, but it's just so haunting at the same time, because
it is.
It's
like, do you see a 5-year-old barefoot child just for no good reason trying to make their way through all of this? I mean, unless she was running from someone, which is possible, you know, but I just don't see that. And again, you cannot grasp the decline of that hill there. You know, the camera does not capture how steep that actually is. Now, that's just the side going down. I don't even know if we're able, because you said my video was blurry or whatever. But of the hill, their hill, where people said, oh, well, yeah, we see toys up there, as if the kids played up there. No, that is a junkyard that is so steep. Like I said, you'd have to have climbing equipment. There's no way for a child to play up there, much less ride like a little trike or something. It's probably, you know, 90 degrees is straight up, right? 45 is level, 90 is straight up. That hill, I would put that hill on probably a 70-degree incline.
Wow.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't try it. You know?
It's clearly intense. And remember, I don't know if you remember that one news interview, or if chat remembers, where Don's like hitting the fridge outside with the stick.
Yeah.
The news lady's face when he's like showing her the dog trail, like, she herself, you could tell she was like, you're really expecting me to come down here? And I think even her reaction, you could tell that she wasn't buying into like the stranger came up there.
I'm telling you, when you're at the bottom and you're looking at the top of the hill, so it's like, it goes like 70 degrees up and then it plateaus off, but it's like a little bit of a gradual till it gets to where their buildings are, like their house and their other outbuildings. I guarantee you that newswoman didn't walk 10 feet off of that, like that plateau. She didn't even get to the hill.
Right.
Couldn't have. She was in heels.
She was in heels, yeah.
So there's just no way.
Which luckily,
and you could tell she was all
not
tentative about it.
To, but I am, so I'm not getting near it. But again, I mean, let's just have some common sense here for a minute, people. There's no way she wandered off. No way. Hey guys, we keep coming across all along the edge of their property trees, just fence posts, things like that. And they're just like these globs, you know, these swaths of purple paint. That's not like in honor of summer. It's to, I don't know, my interpretation, I guess, would be like, yep, you've got the right property, stay off of it. You know, I just, it's bizarre. It's almost like they used her
at all.
Color.
It was not there. You can.
I forgot to turn it here. Like,
I'm sorry. Say that again, hon.
I forgot to turn because it's supposed to be sideways.
Right. And that's me doing that. But
I'm wondering if those were markings for people to know that they searched that area. Maybe
this line's their property.
For some
this
reason,
is their
it's
property
so
line.
Weird to me.
Weird.
Yeah. And it's like,
I don't know. What do you
there'll
guys
be
think?
like a surveillance
and we're
sign,
finding
and
these.
then a big swath of purple
We've taken
paint.
pictures all along the way.
Maybe that
Allie's
particular
caught
tree doesn't
other
have a sign, but
video of it. But it is all along the edge of this property. Every so often you'll see a tree or something that's just got like a big, just a quick of paint on it. No pictures, no nothing like that. Just that. Interesting.
Right. No
anyway.
posters of her.
And again,
just a big thing of
just
paint.
to demonstrate. So now we are on the opposite side of the property, and again, this is the creek comes around, so this is completely opposite of where we were just at. You can see, let's see.
Sorry,
Simpson,
guys.
I can't see on my glasses. Simpson Loop. So by the
It's
aerial
my
map,
fault. I totally should
you
have
can
caught it
determine
in the editing.
everything better than I can articulate.
Well, you've done a great job with all this.
And you see the creek down there, and it's flowing pretty good. I mean, again, it's different being in here in person.
So this is their property. Do you see her climbing down there?
But these are very steep inclines.
I mean, seriously.
And there's poison ivy everywhere. It is so
Barefoot
thick
with
and lush,
poison
it's like
ivy,
a
I'm not
jungle.
seeing it.
What's that?
I do not see,
Her being
again, I'll say for
barefoot
the
and
100th
there
time,
being so much
I do
poison
not
ivy,
see
you know, why would
Summer
you wander there?
traversing this, particularly barefoot and alone. And I don't see someone bushwhacking through this and grabbing her and getting her out of here. It just, neither of those things make any sense at all. And I'm sure other people that have been here felt the same way. It's just, you just cannot see that as a possibility. And I guess the reason I hammer away at this point is I'd like to take something and be able to knock it off the table. And at some point, reason and common sense has to enter the picture. I know we all like receipts, we like proof, and we require it. And I understand that. But I'm just trying to point out something that when you're standing here is pretty obvious, you know? And again, it's just my opinion, but I sure as hell, there's no way. I wouldn't do it. And I just don't see it. So that's my thoughts. Hey guys, Allie just spotted, hopefully you can see it zooming through, but through, I'll try to center on it, through the trees, there maybe, you can see it there. You can see some toys. It looks like a little...
See, you can't even see them. We could see them
something
with the
like
naked
that.
eye.
I don't know what the silver thing is next to it, but...
But you cannot even see that that's their hill. All you see is the
I don't
trees.
know. Anyway, it's a toy. We can tell that for sure. And clearly...
It's hard to...
It's almost like your eyes just are like hypnotized in a way with all this greenery and like...
Yeah.
You don't know where your eye's focusing, but...
Right. But when you're standing there with the naked eye, like you can differentiate all of this. And it's... like I said, you see their hill and then you're like, oh, you see colors. You see, oh, they're toys. You start to make out what you're looking at. And that should even give you some sort of idea of like just how big and steep and lush and all of this is. All the same words I keep using.
Yeah. There's just, it's literally a jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, that, the incline of that is ridiculous. You'd be lucky to be able to walk that without having to scooch down on your butt, much less you would be playing down there. That's just out of the question. So my thought is that, you know, it's a way to get rid of stuff you don't want. You just chuck it over the hill. You see I see a red wheel up there. Yeah, these kids are not playing here. It's not playable. It's not doable. You know, they'd be tumbling down the mountain. I wish I knew my degrees better, but I want to say it's like a 90-degree slope, or it's an 80-degree slope probably. It is steep, people. You could maybe crawl on your hands and knees up it, scooch down on your butt, maybe, but
And I'm not trying to like beat a dead horse about that. You know, I hate that phrase, but like, I'm not trying to just, like I said, hammer away at the same point over and over. It's just sort of breathtaking. And so it's, because I've often seen in chats, well, there's a possibility of this. And then when I came out with the animal attack thing, I was like, really? You know, any of us that know anything about like missing persons cases, like I followed Missing 411 since he started, like before he had a YouTube channel. And I learned a lot about these things. And anytime you have an animal attack, you have signs, clear signs of predation. You have blood. You have disheveled,
Clothing, hair.
scraps of clothing, hair.
And all the dog
terrain around there would be a mess.
You would have found at
prints,
least the clothing.
marks. You would see signs of a struggle, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And you would, if something dragged her, it's so hard to even say this stuff, but something dragged her there would be signs of that. Right. And if they were out there searching, like if you go by the given timeline, the narrative that Don and Candus give, that means that they're out looking for her so fast that, and even they said they looked for her and didn't find her. I don't even believe that anyway. But how far could she get on her own?
It's like probable and all that has to be played in, and it's just not probable.
Exactly. And like I said, when they just recently, and I almost really didn't pay attention to it. Of course, I have to pay some attention to it because I'm this invested in this case. But when they came out and said animal attack, I'm like, you guys you're either trying to just give us something to do to distract YouTubers, or I don't know what the point of that was, because it's just not a reality.
Agree.
That's something they would have known way early on anyway, if there had been any truth to that.
Agree.
It's not something they're going to see signs of now, but they would have done.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'll be right back. This is just back at Warriors the next day when the rain had lightened up. And as we noticed, and as you can see, there are no flowers to be picked. That little pink flower that I had a picture of in there we took that because it was underneath a bush over by where they were swimming. There's no flowers for Grandma to pick.
Right. It's like there might have been some there, but that wasn't there.
There was no flowers when we were there. I mean, maybe the occasional little, like I showed you, little tiny one here or there, but I don't see somebody with a bad knee traversing all of this to go look under a bush to find one little flower. It just makes no sense.
Right. Same with them planning at home, like planting the cactuses or whatever. That makes no sense.
I don't believe that happened either.
Right.
Ma'am?
I just don't. I think that was filler.
I was going to ask you a question.
That's Alex talking there.
Have you heard of a missing girl? I'm from out of town, and I'm here looking into a missing child case, Summer Wells. Have you heard of that? Okay. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. It's okay. Thank you.
How has she not heard of Summer Wells? She's across the fucking street. Seriously.
Oh my God.
Unless she's just saying that. Hey guys, as you can see, it's extremely hot and humid here today. We've had 2 days of just like downpouring rain. It rained this morning, but it's lightened up. However, we are on Beach Creek Road, just 2 drives down from Ben Hill. The next property over had a lot of dogs, and I would have taken a picture of it, but I didn't want to, I didn't want to have a problem. So there was a sign though that said, forget the dogs, beware of the owner, and it had a picture of a pistol or whatever, revolver at you. Anyhow, so we skipped that. We did pull into the next driveway, however, and it looks like they invited Allie in, so I'm interested to see what they had to say. Okay, to be continued. Just real quick, because I will forget, but Ben Hill is obviously a very rugged, it's a little dead-end drive. People aren't driving 90 miles an hour on here. However, on Beach Creek, they are flying. How are they ever to see those signs? And those are the only ones we've seen, and we've been all through the little town. So, sorry, I got distracted. So we are on Beach Creek Road.
So Amber,
and Ben Hill Road.
right there.
That leads to their house.
Can you scooch back to the right, like just to that other post? Oh, it goes by time. Okay, sorry.
Hold on. Yeah, just give me a sec. It'll get caught up again.
Okay.
But if you want to explain,
be continued.
you're going to point out.
Just real quick, because I will forget, but Ben Hill is obviously a very rugged, it's a little dead-end drive. People aren't driving 90 miles an hour on here. However, on Beach Creek, they are flying. How are they ever to see those signs? And those are the only ones we've seen, and we've been all through.
Sorry. Yeah, it was to the right. I missed it again. But there you go. I missed it, and I filmed it, and I knew it was there. But I couldn't tell you when to stop. So nobody is seeing those signs of her. There was a post almost covered with leaves and a sign of her that's all weathered. That was one of the 4. That's right at the end of Ben Hill Road. I mean, right at the end of their driveway. And then,
on top of, okay, Don's in prison. He can't keep up on the signs. Jail, whatever. Candus obviously isn't keeping up with the signs. And then the grandmother, she can't keep up with the signs. Like, I'm telling you, they all know that they don't need to go out there and refresh the missing children sign of their daughter and granddaughter.
I 100% agree with you, because also remember that, Candus has had some friends along the way. They could have helped with it. And, I just skipped over. Sorry. And also, Don was not in jail immediately. He had time. He chose to spend his time on YouTube making a fool of himself. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
So you see that post right there. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm getting the hiccups. I don't know if you can zoom in or not, but you see green, and then you see 2, you see white below it. That's 2, that's 2 signs for her. They put them in those album sleeves, like in a photo album, rather than laminating them. Because if they just laminated them, they wouldn't be so weathered. They might fade. But these are crinkly because they've been wet. They're faded. Like I said, you would not even know what you're looking at.
Beach Creek Road,
right,
and Ben Hill Road.
That
leads to their house.
It does.
At the end is a dead end sign with a missing dog poster. There are surveillance signs everywhere, and there's kind of.
And so that's their corner right there. That corner is their property. So if you continue up past the missing dog sign, you're going to hit their driveway, which we'll see, I think, eventually here.
And also think about them adding the cameras and the no trespassing signs that they added, but they didn't update her flyer.
Exactly my point.
If you can see on this little pole here,
and the purple paint,
the foliage is starting to kind of cover it, but there's 2 very weathered old pictures of summer wells. The bottom one you can't see because of the condensation in the plastic, but they look like they're relatively old. Then there across the street are the 2 that I showed in the other clip with the Paw Patrol. Those are the only signs so far that we have seen for summer, other than the Amber Alert, which did not have her picture.
That was on the lotto.
In the tobacco store on their lottery screen, like on a little computer you use for the lottery. So, anyone playing the lottery would see it, but
they wouldn't see her face.
Not everybody does that. So, just interesting. I'm pretty sure Allie caught this already for her video, but I'm just grabbing it again for mine. But this is the dead end sign at the very end of their road that leads to their driveway, and there's a relatively fresh looking missing dog poster there. Hi, little guy. Cute little dog. Don't want to film someone else's property. So I'm walking up to the end of the road here, or where it meets the main road. And so from Ben Hill, I'm on Ben Hill and Beach Creek. And there is some pretty weathered posters here. I'm not sure who made them.
That's rough shape.
And then a very weathered one up there with a little Paw Patrol's guy.
Even
So
Robin's not out refreshing posters.
I believe.
Honestly,
Good point.
3 signs we've seen.
Nobody in the church.
Especially since didn't Robin write that song or whatever for Tim?
Yeah,
or whatever.
But I heard about it. Yeah,
Tim Mullen was singing for her 1 year. Maybe Chet knows too, but Robin wrote.
I heard about it, but I didn't listen to it.
What the heck? Why? It's so bizarre.
Do you want to play it?
No, it's so
See right there.
No, CDT played it,
and then
all having a laugh.
If I stole your words, look, this is across the road. There's the shed.
So now we're back on Beach Creek. We're on the back side of their property, so that brown shed was where I left.
Maybe there was a missing flyer.
So it looks like the flyer had been taken out.
If it was my child, I'd be out here.
And there's this ragged butterfly hanging there. Nobody would know what that's even for, or about.
In the tobacco store on that lottery machine, and then a couple, maybe
One that I can think of.
It's crazy. Sorry, I'm gonna drop you
And
guys.
you make such a great point with that, Amber, that when you consider that all those surveillance signs and that purple paint all went up after the fact, why was that not also? They went on so many trees and posts, and it just went on and on. Why was there not a poster of her surrounding their entire property? It's just things like that just really bothered me.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm getting stuck on something, but
it seems like red flag because it's just not normal behavior from like a lot of other missing children's parents,
Right. Well, look at what the woman with the missing dog did. I mean, Allie probably exemplified it better with the video, but I'm telling you, there were so many of those posters around of the missing dog. And I think, we questioned, did she put one right at the end of that stop sign to say, hey, look at what I'll do to look for my dog. Where's your kid? I mean, these are all inferences that, just things we're thinking from
right.
But it is kind of the takeaway was like, that's weird. And it makes you wonder then, what are people in this community thinking?
Well, JLR pretty much had this interview with somebody that worked at the grocery store. And pretty much, I guess, last time Candus was seen in there, she was videotaping people because they were like heckling her pretty much. Because I think, and from the sounds of it in the video and from maybe these missing dog signs right next to the Summer Wells signs that are all worn, from the gist of the community is they feel like the parents know more and Candus knows more.
Yep.
So they have no problem kind of snickering at them. And I guess Candus was seen documenting it the last time she had gotten groceries there. And then they hadn't seen her for a while. And he was saying because people were donating stuff to her.
I wonder if it's the same gentleman. Was it a man that he spoke to?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same gentleman because I was standing in line. I was purchasing something, drink or something. And, we wanted to just check out the store. We were just visiting all the places they'd been and I needed something. So I'm standing in line, but I've got one earbud in and this man walks past me and I could tell enough that he said something to me, but I didn't catch it. So I took my earbud out and I said, oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? And he said, oh, I hope you're having a great day. And I said, yeah, I am. Thank you. It's kind of hard to answer when you're thinking all this stuff in your head. And so after I checked out, he had gone into the employee room for his lunch or something, but the door was cracked. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go see if he'll talk to me. And he came to the door and he talked to me, and I told him like who we were and why we were there. And he said, yeah, well, they were here that day. I said, yeah, that's why we're here. And I said nothing else. And he said, yeah, she was in here all the time yelling and screaming at those kids. And I was like, wow. I said, that's, really unfortunate and sad to hear, but I'm not surprised. And then he got kind of nervous and I think he had limited time for his lunch or something anyway. I did ask him if he wanted to go out and talk to Allie because she was outside at that point, and he declined, but I think he just felt like kind of camera shy or whatever. And I didn't have my phone out. I was just talking to him. But that was his, his lasting impression of her.
I think
screaming at the kids.
I think he mentioned you guys in JLR's video because JLR said something and he's like, yeah, a couple weeks ago or something along the lines of people have visited there from YouTube before.
I bet you he's super friendly. Obviously,
dark hair. You'll know when you see the video eventually.
I'd have to see him to know for sure.
I mean, it seems like a small little crew.
Yeah, and they may have just talked, the employees may have just talked to one another or whatever, but that's interesting that they mentioned that.
Yeah.
I so badly wanted to walk up that drive. Oh my goodness. And this is right at the point where we were right here when that Hawkins County sheriff passed us.
Got you. I wonder, I'm telling you, it's a small town. But when YouTubers are going to the spots, I bet you TBI or Hawkins County finds out and they don't want people going to this shed. You know what I mean? So it's good that, I mean, obviously you guys knew better, but I'm wondering if maybe they were patrolling because they knew that YouTubers were out.
All I could think is, do they take American Express for bail? Because that's all I got, So
and you guys didn't do anything wrong, you know?
And that's just it. It was very tempting it's just a matter of moving your legs and walking, and it's very tempting to do, especially when it's like no one's around. But it's filmed, and it's just not worth. It's not worth it to me, and I don't believe it was to Allie either. To give the Wells an opportunity to have prosecute.
Right. And you guys are more professional than that anyway.
Right. We just wouldn't do it, but I'll tell you, it was tempting.
There's the shed. Again, the purple paint. The shed. Purple splashed on the poles there.
You can't even see it, but yeah, they just crappily.
I think it's interesting how they're using this color to mark their property. I don't know. Anybody else find that weird? I find that very weird.
That might have been the sheriff right there.
If you were trying to stay private, I don't know, would you advertise it? Hey guys, Allie just spotted. Hopefully you can see it zooming through, but through.
Oh, this is the toys again, I think.
All right. Well, that is the last clip, but the clip that you tried to send me that was just a little bit out of focus, I think, because we split it up and sent it that way. But I was thinking it would be the perfect clip for you to kind of start on your channel and just go from there, because it's unseen footage from your trip.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we can talk about that too, and maybe I can get a little help on how to do this. But it's and I can tinker with it too. I just am a little intimidated by it. That's all.
Yeah, you'll be good. And if anyone in chat has any questions for Jenny, just let us know. Otherwise, that pretty much is the end, I think. Let me just see. Yeah, it's just that clip.
Well, I wanted to ask you, because I haven't been real tuned in lately. I just haven't been feeling that great. And I don't know, just had a lot going on. But if there was just anything new. I know there's no new big news, but what was the last thing that probably happened in this? The Robin, well, I mean, obviously the anniversary, but was it, when I'm talking about the players and all of this, has anything new cropped up, or was Robin's song the last thing that we're aware of?
Robin's song that Tim Mullins sang in Don's letter. Did you see Don's letter?
Yeah.
Did
I
you
did.
watch the interview room's last live stream on
No, you told me that the other night and I got distracted on
It was really good, and I think that he is under the impression that the boys said something to authorities that night of along the lines of hide and seek.
Oh, no, I did see that. I did see, or I saw at least one live that he did about that.
Yeah.
And Alex said that that is also a video game. Now, they said that the kids were sitting there playing video games. I forget what it's called. It's like Hello Neighbor or something. I don't know if it's part of that blocky, what's it called?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's that called?
Minecraft.
Yes. But it's called Hello Neighbor, and it's I guess apparently supposed to be sort of creepy or something, but hide and seek is the game, a game in that. And so if that could be okay, maybe they really were out playing hide and seek in the woods. Something happened to Summer. But it also could be the boys were playing hide and seek video game and
lost track or whatever.
Right. Don't know where she went or what you know what I mean?
Yeah. It just seems like I don't know.
I mean, clearly all of them know, the family, law enforcement. I don't know about the neighbors, but I think the neighbors and stuff, they're where that value lies is in the history of this family and just the day-to-day life and things like that you might observe. Jody Sue's obviously a very intelligent woman. She is hard to follow because of her illness, how it affects her voice or whatever, and I'm sorry for that. That's it's not a put down. I'm just saying. But and again here I could be wrong, but I swear I remember like way back her making a comment about them not paying their debts like to them. Like they were hard to collect money from. I think
if
is how
you can find that clip or whatever, or if anybody on replay or in chat finds that, let me know because I'd like to hear that.
Right. And my thought was, well, why would they owe you money? Drugs. I don't know. That all Don goes on and on about how they're just surrounded by all these drug users and dealers and they're just trying to go to church. And I think that's another one. I think we all know Don uses religion as a guilty shield or something. It's like only when he's on the hot seat does he turn to that, it seems like. Because even then, okay, so there's another point. When Donna came out with her reading, they reacted so viscerally to that accusation. That caught my attention. People have accused them of a lot of stuff, and I have not seen them go off like they did about Donna's reading. And that is trafficking, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that could have been going on even along the side of whatever else happened. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's why it triggered them.
Well, that and I mean, it could have been because of things that were happening to her before this, whatever happened in the end.
Yeah.
However, so there was that. They acted so viscerally that, and then he uses religion against that, talking about calling her a sorcerer or something. And however, that's against their religion. They won't accept her help because she's a sorcerer and, so on and so forth. Well, I think they didn't want her help because it points to them. And then also look at every other rule they break regarding their religion. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right.
It's totally like
front. No.
So it makes me wonder why they reacted so angrily and viscerally to her reading.
Yeah. Right.
And why did they have her dancing in front of a for sale sign? Why do they have her in front of a U-Haul? This is low cost. I mean, as a mother, Amber, you're a young mother. I'm sure you take a lot of pictures of your daughter. It's like, can you imagine not catching that in the frame and going, oh, whoops, we're not posting that. Or I'm not sure. That's what I would think, but maybe
they had pictures on their Facebook of her without shirts on and stuff posted, and it's like maybe they were ignorant, but maybe it's just I don't know. But either way, I just really appreciate you coming on and sharing your footage and your experience there with Alex, and I'm so glad that you guys had a productive trip and got to share it with all of us.
I wish
And
we'd had longer. I really wish we'd had, more days. Because the days we had was just getting a feel for things, really. At least for me.
yeah, it's a lot to take in.
What's that?
It's a lot to take in, I'm sure.
It is. It's a lot to take in, and your mind's just reeling over all the things you've already gone over here on YouTube from every angle. What's possible, what's probable, what makes sense, what doesn't, why are there so many people that are suspects? There's a reason for that. It's not random. Look at any other case. It's not like, okay, you take a case of let's say Letitia Stubb, for instance. Was there anybody else that they were suspicious of? Was it her whole neighborhood? No. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a different case, different circumstances, whatever, but this reminds me a lot of Watts, where there's just so many players. Why are there so many people that don't make sense, that we have questions about?
Exactly.
I think there's something to
Dylan
that.
Rounds case is for anyone following the Dylan's Rounds case. That's how that's getting to be. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? It's like intense. But I'll be live tomorrow night on Dylan Rounds.
I was going to say
8:30 with CDT.
Tomorrow. Yeah. I'm so excited.
If you guys catch us then, you will see me then, and I'm sure you'll be in chat.
Yeah, for sure. I will be. I'll be there modding for you.
All right.
I don't know anything about it, so I'm excited
I just want to thank you so much again, and we'll be talking very soon with everyone. And
thank you, Amber. This was such a treat for me. I just have, like I said, when I found YouTube and all of this, you're the community I found and I stayed with, and I just adore you. I think the world of you. So
thank you so much, Jenny, and likewise. And we will be talking very soon. So
probably in like 5 minutes.
I know, right?
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm sorry I didn't have the chat on because I can't see it, but thanks for being here and letting me share this. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll talk soon and see everybody here soon too. So bye.
Bye.